Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick overlook and overview of this new model from Sonicmodell. This is the SM600. Now, for those of you that have been in the hobby for a long time, might be feeling like you've got a little bit of deja vu. This kind of cut foam wing was very popular back in the early days of the mass hobby. I had loads of these. The ones that I used to fly with, the Texumo, do you remember those? But also things like the Bonsai, which were Hobby King's kind of variant of this. Now, Sonicmodell are known for making slightly different kind of regular planes and wings. In fact, I worked with Sonicmodell many years ago to help design the AR Wing Pro, and the last thing I had a look at on the channel was actually the baby AR Wing Pro. And I'm keeping an eye on Sonicmodell because they're also a sister company of ZOHD, another vendor that makes some pretty cool stuff. So when I saw that this was out, and actually I didn't find out about that from Sonicmodell, I actually spotted it on Banggood. This one's been ordered from Banggood. I'll put a link down below if you want to go and have a look at it. I thought, you know what, I've got to get in to have a look at that because it kind of looks like those old school wings, those Texumos and Bonsais that we all used to fly back in the day, or many of us did anyway. This is just about pure, unadulterated, direct fun flying. This kind of EPP foam is wire cut, is injection molded, so these are relatively cheap and cheerful to produce. This one has a battery bay at the front. You can get it in one or two versions, either the kit or the PMP. I've got the one that came with the electronics here, and I've put it all together to just see how it all works. But this is very much putting me back 10 years ago to when I was doing lots of things with things like Texumos, because these things are incredibly rugged. They survive crashes really, really well. And even if they snap or break, this one has quite a bit of carbon fiber reinforcement. You have to glue it together. A little bit more on that in a moment. But even if you snap it and break it, then a line of hot glue or a little bit of Yoo-hoo pour, following day, it's kind of ready to fly again. I ended up with about 4 Texumos for that exact same reason. We would fly it like we stole it. It'd end up crashing and smashing into the ground. I'd recover all the bits of foam and then kind of order one before I left the field on the way home, and then get home and hot glue it back together, and it would fly just as well. These are really, really good fun. Are they designed for things like FPV and flight controllers and stabilizers? No, not really. There are the wings around if you're really interested in that. However, because these are relatively cheap because of their simple construction, these can be modified to do pretty much whatever you want. But this is a nice, small, compact little wing that's just all about the pure joy and love of flying line of sight and just flipping and rolling in the sky and with a grin on your face. So in terms of the specs, again, this is the Sonicmodell SM600 made out of wire-cut EPP. It's that slightly waxy foam. As you can see here, it comes in individual parts. So it's up to you to put it together. There is a video that shows you how to do it, but if you've ever built one of these, it's going to go together very, very easily. It is going to be a bit of a blast from the past if you used to have these kind of wings back in the day. Wingspan 600mm, hence the name, the SM600. The length is 310mm, and again available in either a kit or a PMP. Motor recommended on this is a 1406 3800 kV. ESC on this is a 30 amp 2 to 4S version, and you are going to need a 3S battery. Prop on this is a 4 by 2.5 inch prop. They're recommending 3S up to 1200 mAh or an 18650 pack on 3S, but you need to have it relatively low. The package, as you can see, includes the kit. It also includes the hardware, and it's completely unassembled. So you are going to have to spend an evening actually putting it together. Building and assembling it isn't particularly tricky. I would personally use a glue like Yoo-hoo pour. That really works well. All you need is a little bit of time, and you need to just put the spars into position. Personally, I would recommend roughening up the spars a little bit with a little bit of sandpaper. I like to do that just to give a nice mechanical connection for the glue, sticking them all together and using T-pins just to hold all the pieces closed. The finish on this is relatively rough, as it can be with these kind of wire-cut EPP wings. You do want the joints to be as close together as they possibly can. isn't tricky. You just take your time, and there is a video that's available that you can just watch that will kind of take you through each of the individual steps. So for those of us that sometimes like to forget all about FPV and flight controllers and stabilizers and just have a little wing and just have fun flying line of sight, looks like Sonicmodell have got you covered. I'm surprised that they've brought something like this out. Their brand is really known for other things. Maybe this is a stopgap thing, something they've done that's relatively cheap and cheerful to produce. They've identified a gap in the market, or maybe they took over someone who was producing this kind of stuff. Once it's together, it seems to work pretty well. There isn't really a manual I can find. The Sonicmodell website isn't particularly up to date. The only thing that I really need to know is where the center of gravity is in order to go out and give this a fly. I could guess it, but you know what happens when you guess central gravity. Interesting things happen. But hopefully that kind of information will be released by these guys, and I can finish a build, put a little receiver in the back here, little 3S battery in the front, and give it a fly around. But if you're looking for a basic, relatively cheap and cheerful wing that you can fly it like you stole it and just enjoy flying without all of the extra electronics that we tend to stick in these things these days, this little SM600 might be worth a look. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Pedantry 60 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.